What up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing a weekly forecast, a cosmic weather report for the week of March 15th through March 22nd of 2020. So we are getting through March pretty quickly, I would say, and I hope everybody is staying healthy out there because you already know the whole craze of it all with the virus thingy going on and whatever. And it's like everything's canceled. The whole world is canceled right now. Like, just cancel the whole planet right now, pretty much. So before I get started, just wanted to remind you guys that I do have on my website 2020 horoscopes. Go to my website, indigomoonAstrology.com. Go to the horoscopes page. I may have monthlies back soon per sign, but I do have yearlies for 2020. 2020 has been crazy so far, you guys. So if you want to know what it's gonna like, if you want to be ahead of the game, if you want to know how this year is affecting you based on your sign, I would recommend, if you do know your birth time, you do know your rising sign, that you get the forecast for that. Okay, but if you don't, even your sun sign is accurate. So I do have those. I did bring the price down a little bit so you can know like what the madness of 2020 brings to you, like all this stuff hanging out in Capricorn. Mercury retrograde, we're just getting barely through the shadow period of this recent Mercury retrograde, and OMG, it was crazy. And if you want to know how the Mercury retrograde cycles are going to affect you for the rest of the year, because we still have 2 more to go, y'all. 2 more to go. And also Venus goes retrograde this year. Mars goes retrograde this year. And that doesn't happen every year. Saturn is entering Aquarius actually in this week that I'm covering, if you want to know how that transit affects you over the next 2 to 3 years. Go to my website and get a 2020 forecast. It is general. It's not a personal one based on your birth chart, but it is, you already know, you guys know I talk a lot. Okay, so I still give a lot of details. All right, so what is going on this week? We have, we talk about the moon phases a lot over here in these parts. The moon is in Sagittarius on the 15th. So usually Sundays are chill days for a lot of people, but when the moon's in Sag, it's not really a chill energy. It's more hyped. It's more lit, as everybody says now. Actually, the term it's lit and all that stuff was introduced by people who were born under the Pluto and Sagittarius generation. That means you were born like in the mid to late 90s to the mid 2000s, I want to say, is the Pluto and Sagittarius generation. So if you were born during that time, you definitely know what that term means. It does have to do with fire. Sag is a fire sign, so on and so forth. So yeah, when the moon is in Sagittarius, that's the attitude. It's just a little more blunt, straightforward. It wants to have fun, no seriousness, no consequences about tomorrow. Just jump and fly and do, right? And it can be an energy that is very optimistic. Of course, that term is used a lot with Sag, but it's like happy-go-lucky. Don't worry, be happy. No worries. All that stuff is Sagittarius too. Good days for going on adventures. It doesn't even matter if that's like an adventure around your hood. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a new spot that opened up in your neighborhood and you haven't checked it out yet, a moon in Sag day is perfect for going to explore that. Okay. Yeah. So the moon is in Sag all day on Sunday. And then on the 16th, we have a couple things going on. The moon goes into Capricorn that day, and the mood totally shifts. So it's like the moon was in Scorpio and Sag all weekend. And if you did not quarantine yourself, you might have been out trotting and thotting, hoeing it and throwing it. You know what I'm saying? Just having a good time, drinking, partying, woo, and all that jazz. And then when the moon shifts into Capricorn, you look back at your actions, your past actions, and you're like, yo, what was I doing? What was I thinking? Oh my gosh, I'm hungover. I spent how much? Yeah, that's what moon and Cap days will do to you. Following the moon in Sag. So the moon stays in Capricorn from the 16th to the 18th. But yeah, the attitude is a little more serious. It's good days to get back to business, and this is on a Monday, so at least, you know, in the US and stuff, Monday through Friday is like the average work schedule of the average Joe Schmo. So everybody gets back to work. You get back to work on that day, moon and cap. Your bosses are going to be like, I don't care what you did this weekend. I don't care if you're tired. No excuses. What? You got that virus? I don't care. You still need to bring your ass to work. We have to get things done. It's back to business, baby. So that is moon and cap attitude. Even if you don't work in an actual workplace, and maybe during moon and cap days, you can still take more charge of your life, your budget, your finances, your everything, your household. You're a little more bossy, you know, and just looking at what everybody's doing and not doing, delegating and dictating. That's all Capricorn energy. So the moon is in Cap. Now Mercury is still moving forward. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about that. Mercury retrograde, oh my god, in the water signs. And especially if you're a water sign, oh my god. But now he's moving direct again in Pisces, trekking back over where he was in the beginning of February and the beginning of March, like the first few days of February and the first few days of March. So if you can remember during that time period, what were you thinking about? What were you talking about? What were the conversations between yourself and other people? What was going on during that time? Then this is going to be reviewed and revised again for a third time. So if there were any misunderstandings, any, stuff that you couldn't agree upon with someone or anything like that, or any business that you were handling that maybe you didn't get all the details, or the details are like blurry, murky, muddy, whatever. Maybe now they'll be a little bit more clear since you're taking a third look at whatever it is. It depends upon where Pisces is in your chart, what house it's transiting through, as far as like what matters will be brought up again for a third time, right? So it all depends. But yeah, conversations can be had to clear things up within that realm, that sector of your life. Mercury is back in Pisces, and how long does he stay in Pisces? Let's see. Mercury is in Pisces until like mid-April. Okay, so until let's just say April 11th. But once Mercury gets past 12 degrees of Pisces, which isn't until the very last day of March, then he will be technically out of the shadow zone, because Mercury went retrograde at 12 degrees. So once it's out of that, it's like bada boom, bada bing, everything is clear. Okay. So until then, things are still foggy. Things are still uncertain, but they're more certain than they were when it was retrograde. But we are still like cleaning up messes, clearing things up. Okay. Mercury now moving direct here in Pisces. It's back to being emotional and stuff, but it's not as bad as when it was retrograde, because retro is going back, right? So when it was retrograde in an emotional water sign, that could have been a lot of people just reminiscing and wanting to cry about the memories and missing people. And that's why we joke so much. That's why I joked so much about exes coming back during Mercury retrograde in Pisces, because Pisces rules reflecting. It's the last sign of the zodiac, so the last sign will reflect back on all the rest of the wheel that it's gone through. So because of that, people, when Mercury was retrograde, it's like, oh my God, the memories and the songs and this and that, and could have just gotten caught up in that, and then hit people up that they were reminiscing about. Excuse me, I'm still getting over. I don't have that shit, okay? But I've had the same something for like a month now, so forgive me for quaffing a little bit, okay? It's not as bad as it was before. But anyway, one of my homegirls, her ex kept coming back and back and back during Mercury retrograde, and it was all bad. They fought. They did nothing but fight most of the time. They couldn't get on the same page. It was, oh my God. I had to hear it all. I had to hear all the stories, and be a shoulder to cry on and all of that, because yeah, Mercury retrograde, when exes come back, sometimes it is to apologize, but sometimes they're still on their same bullshit and they try to bring that back to you too. And it's just like, yo, what? Hold up, slow your roll. But some people, they get caught up in the nostalgia and the emotions of it all, especially with it being in a water sign, and they just give in, you know. But this is why we always advise, do not, okay, you have your own free will, but it's best not to take exes back during Mercury retrograde. It can just end in disaster. Or maybe it's like, it seems all good, and then once Mercury is direct, then it's like, what did I do this for? This is a mistake, you know. But let me tell you guys, Mercury retrograde in the exes is not as bad as Venus retrograde. Dun dun dun. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm dreading. I'm not even gonna lie or front. I know I'm supposed to be someone who spreads light and wisdom and comfort to the world, but hey, I'm still a human, okay? And I am ruled by Venus heavily, so I do not like Venus retrograde, you guys. The last one was horrendous. And you know what? I did a video on it with my homegirl Apollonia, who's also an astrologer. She's an intuitive astrologer, tarot reader, and all of that. She's one of my besties. And we are going to do another live stream video on Venus retrograde before it goes retrograde in Gemini. Okay. And we're gonna spill all the tea, you guys. I'll tell you guys all that happened to me during the last Venus retrograde. Like, my life changed so drastically because, like I said, I am ruled by Venus so heavily in my chart. Excuse me. It's like my world was flipped upside down and broken apart and then stitched back together, and not just my world but my own self. Oh my god, go away. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Venus retrograde is also not a good time to take exes back, but we'll tread that. What's that? We'll cross that bridge when we get that to the water, whatever the hell that saying is. When we get there, we'll get there. But I just want to let you guys know, like, just on this topic, Venus retrograde, oof, that's going to be in May. And in the yearly horoscopes, I do talk about Venus retrograde for your sign and what she's going to be doing. But just in general, just keep in mind that she's going to be pulling some little stunts this year, okay? And in Gemini, oh my God, bring on the games and the lies and the trickery and ugh. Anyway, moving on. Back to March, though. Back to March. What's cracking? So, basically, until we get to the end of the week, you guys, there's not too much going on. There's not too much cracking. On the 17th, which is St. Patty's Day, a lot of people, they just go out and they drink green beer and get like twisted, you know, and they get effed up and drunk. But the moon will be still in Capricorn, which is about discipline and about consequences and authority. So some people may be able to control and contain themselves, except for when we get to the nighttime, at least here in the US. The moon is going to be approaching Mars in Capricorn, and Mars is impulsive. Although Mars in Cap is not impulsive, Mars itself is impulsive, angry energy. So just don't be out there getting into angry bar fights and stuff like that, because all this Cap stellium is authority and people, what's it called, like implementing the rules and structure and discipline. So people could get into a lot of trouble, and the cops will have no mercy when there's a lot of Capricorn energy in the air. Okay. And the moon is our moods and our emotions. So, just be careful out there, you guys. Use this use this energy to be smart about things yourself. The moon is like your inner voice. So when it's in Capricorn, your inner voice will be telling you not to do any stupid shit. Okay. But it's up to you whether or not you listen, of course. It's like, it's either your inner voice, punishes you and slaps you on the hand, or it's going to be the authoritas. Okay. So yeah, we have all this Cap energy, Moon and Cap with Mars, Jupiter. This Mars and Jupiter together are very impulsive as well, and very much like believing that you can just jump and fly and you won't crash, and just doing it. You just do it. That's what a lot of fire signs say. This is very similar energy to like Sagittarius, like Mars and Sagittarius. For example, like you just jump and do it. I had a Sag moon friend of mine call me the other day trying to be the motivational speaker like Sages always are. And some Sages like to be like preachy AF, and sorry, but my Uranian energy rolls its eyes at stuff like that. But he was trying to give me some good words of encouragement, but he was just like, all you gotta do is just do it. And I'm like, oh my God, that is totally your Sag energy. Not everybody can just jump and fly and just do it, and it's just as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work, and not everybody operates that way. But anyway, Mars and Jupiter together reminds me it's a very similar energy to Mars and Sag, where you do believe that you can just jump and be successful at something. Capricorn does rule money, and usually Capricorn energy is very reserved when it comes to money and calculating. But Mars and Jupiter together in Cap could be that eat, drink, and be merry, and oh, there's plenty for everybody, there's plenty of money, oh yeah, I'll put it back, I'll put the money back later or whatever, let's just celebrate. It could be very much like that, and especially when the moon joins as well. This little stellium right here, yeah, people can be really intense that evening, intensely just, I don't know, just partying. Excuse me. But yeah, it can be, people can have some serious attitudes that night. I'm just saying. The sun has moved away from Neptune, so at least it's not like super drunk energy. Sun and Neptune together is very like very escapist, very alcohol. That's an alcoholic combination right there. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm still clearing my throat a lot, you guys. But yeah, that's alcoholic energy, but they're still like 10 degrees away, but it's not as strong, as when it was like in the lower degrees. But yeah, that's March 17th. That's St. Patty's Day. If you're out there living it up, doing it up, Venus is in a good aspect to all this Capricorn stellium. So it could be good for enjoyment. Some people can just check themselves before they wreck themselves, with all the earth energy in the air saying, hold up, wait a minute, let's stop, let's think, let's plan, let's be smart. Okay. So stop it. All right, so then we get to the 21st, and the moon is in Aquarius. Oh wait, no, not the 21st, Lord have mercy, I can't read. The 18th. On the 18th, the moon moves into Aquarius, and yeah, so the mood shifts into Aquarius. The moon is our moods. It goes from being like serious, like Eeyore Capricorn, Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh shows and cartoons and movies and all that. Eeyore like, hey Pooh, yeah, life isn't that great, but it's okay. It's that type of a vibe. Moon and Cap can be like that anyway, but then conjunct Saturn, it's totally like, I don't know, some people can kind of sink into little depressive modes, just FYI. Or if you do drink on the 17th, the next day on the 18th, oh, you will be feeling it, boy. And trust me, if you go to work that day, your bosses will have no mercy. With the moon with Saturn, they'll be like, no excuses. So just be aware of that in advance, okay? But then we have the moon switching into Aquarius. It's more in the evening time here in the US and A. So the moon goes into Aquarius for a few days, and that's a very it's like a chill moon. It's like you get annoyed with humanity when the moon is in Aquarius and humans and their antics. People will be clowning even more about what the masses are going crazy about when this moon phase is here. Here, it's a good moon phase. Sorry, hold on. Okay, sorry. It's a good moon phase for being a hipster, checking out some new stuff, and saying that claiming that you were the first one to put people on to certain things because you were the first one to discover it. Yes. And because you're the master knower of all, which is Aquarius energy. That's how they act, right? So people could have that mood and that attitude. Moon in Aquarius days, they're not super emotional. It's just like, let's think logically and rationally about things. Let's not get too caught up in our feelings, right? It is dissecting situations and behaviors in a very scientific type of a way and figuring things out and moving things along. It's also a humanitarian energy. So some people can be like very gung-ho humanitarians under the moon in Aquarius phase. And honestly, it depends upon where it falls in your chart as well, but still. All right, so that's going on until the 21st. But on the 19th, we do have, it's kind of, yeah, we have the sun. It's like, yeah, this is West Coast US time. The sun moves into Aries. So Aries, you guys can start losing your shit and acting wild, like Vikings and wild cave people going woo and smashing things and breaking things and all that stuff like you guys love to do. So Aries are going to be jumping for joy that it's their season and acting a fool. Okay. But yes, the sun moves into Aries, and hallelujah, because sun in Pisces, just generally speaking, it's freaking emo, man. Oh my God. It's so emotional. And there's nothing wrong with being emotional. Trust me. But like sometimes, but Pisces is the deepest water. So it's hard to get yourself out of these little emotional little episodes when the sun is in Pisces. You can like really dwell on things. I say it's like sinking to the bottom of the ocean and just crying down there, and then like you're waiting for someone to reach their hand down there and say, come on, let me pull you up. You know, you're waiting for someone to give you a life raft or something. It's really hard to pull yourself out if you're a really emotional person already. Sun in Pisces, it brings more issues with just seeing a brighter day and being action oriented. So when the sun shifts into Aries, it's all about that action. Aries are all about that action. Time for some action. You know what? Actually, I'm an old school head, you know, so I love hip hop, rap, and all that stuff from back in the day. Redman, time for some action. I believe Redman is an Aries, the rapper Redman. If any of you guys, you know, remember that song, Time for Some Action from Redman, I think he is an Aries. I'm gonna look it up right now. But anyway, yes, that's the theme song. Time for some. Yes, he was born April 17th. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be 50 this year. That's crazy. Yeah, red is an Aries color. It's ruled by Mars, the red planet, you know, and it's about action. So it's only appropriate that Redman put out that song. Wow, I didn't really think about that. Anyway, so sun in Aries, time for some action. Literally, like people will be more motivated to just do things and to go after things with, you know, fearlessness. And also people will be more into their fitness and working out and, you know, all that stuff. And this is the beginning of spring, right? When we start Aries season, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. I already know all that nerdy stuff, okay? But in a lot of other cultures, they start their new year during Aries season, during the sun in Aries. And it's when things are supposed to be blossoming and blooming and we get out of the gloom and doom of the winter and all of that. So yes, Aries season, come through, give us some sunshine, give us some energy, you know what I'm saying? Give us some drive. So the sun will be here in Aries until April 19th. So happy birthday in advance to all my crazy Aries people. What will we do without you guys in the world fighting everybody for us? And you know what I'm saying? Like just motivating us to do things, you know, by being so damn competitive and saying, I was here first. Where are you losers at? I'm here an hour early. Where's everybody at? Like, what will we do without you guys having that little attitude? Making us all get up off our asses, you know? So happy birthday, guys, if you're an Aries and you're listening. All right. Now, on the 20th, this is when Mars and Jupiter are in an exact conjunction with one another. And if I don't sound as energetic as usual, you guys, the moon is in Scorpio. I'm recording this in advance because I have a crazy work weekend and I have a freaking lot to do. So I'm trying to get this done early this week. And moon and Scorpio days are like, since I'm a Scorpio rising, my mood is different. It's more serious a lot of times. So sorry if I sound like that, whatever. But anyway, Mars and Jupiter are exact with each other on the 20th of March. So this is being super motivated. See, they're at 2249 together. Yes, look at that. Okay, so this is motivation. In Capricorn, grounded earth energy, it's not super jumpy, but it is very motivational. And then we have the sun in Aries too. This could be a lot of people just waking up earlier, like literally, but also just like waking up to what am I doing with my life? Because Capricorn energy is about goals and planning things out and calculating your next moves. You know what I'm saying? Strategies. Both Capricorn and Aries are associated with the military. So because of that, both of these signs being activated with the sun, which is a masculine energy planet, and then Mars also, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, meaning it performs its best in Capricorn and also in its ruling sign, which is Aries. So the depositor, here's some other nerd shit right here. The depositor for the sun is in Aries. Mars rules Aries. So where's the sun at? It's in Capricorn. It's sign of exaltation. So this is the 20th is a really dope day for just snapping to it and being like, you know what am I doing with my life? If I'm not where I need to be, I'm going to plan out how to get there, and I'm just going to jump into action with this plan. So that's how this energy can be on this day. It's pretty dope. So if you've been slacking and lagging, Pisces is like hippie energy, like smoker, stoner energy that just wants to chill, listen to music, and be under the influence of something or another, and not have to worry about time or responsibility, and just float there and then be in your feelings and watch movies and cry. And that's Pisces. But then Aries is like, all right, wipe the tears away. Let's get to work, man. So yes, the 20th is probably going to be a day where people's energy, you feel your energy levels shift differently. Even if you're not a Capricorn or Aries, you're going to feel that. Okay. So on the 21st, this is when the moon moves into Pisces. Where's she at? Okay. The moon moves into Pisces. So we have the moon and Mercury in Pisces. So even though we have this go-getter energy, we can still get caught up in our feelings. All right. Moon rules our feelings and emotions. Mercury is communication and the mind. The moon is the mind too. Like I said, it's like your inner voice. And Mercury is like your logical, like the front, more front brain thinking or whatever. So you could be thinking a lot about emotional stuff, and especially anything that was kind of like emotional that came up during Mercury retrograde, because once again, Mercury's trekking back over the same areas that he was at beginning of February and March. So you can kind of get emotional about that stuff. If there were any mistakes made, any misunderstandings or anything like that, you can kind of be in your feelings about it. But moon in Pisces days, the moon's going to be in Pisces the 21st and then 22nd. So for the rest of the weekend we have a Pisces moon, so there's still going to be that element of the Pisces dreaminess and wanting to escape and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you're going to be wanting to work hard, have a lot of energy to do like a lot of work, but then you're going to want to chill at the end of the day, like hardcore. It's like work hard. I won't say play hard, maybe like chill hard, with this going on. 21st is a Saturday. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday, that weekend, the moon is in Pisces. So that's kind of going to be the mood. So we have on the 21st, the Saturn is in its last degrees of Capricorn, very last degrees, and then it moves into Aquarius. Okay, so Saturn moving into Aquarius, I could make a whole ass video on this for like 2-3 hours, trust me, because Saturn, for those who don't know, Saturn, the planet of discipline, rules, government, authority, responsibility, consequences, all that fun stuff in life. He goes through a sign once every roughly like 28 years, right? So Saturn is entering Aquarius for the first time in like 28 to 30 years. And that this causes a major, because it's that long, you do see the shifts, and we are already seeing it. I mentioned this last week, that with Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn is restriction, right? It's stop, no, and don't. If any of you guys know where that's from, drop it in the comments. Okay, but that's what Saturn says: stop, no, and don't. And when it's in Aquarius, Aquarius rules the gatherings of masses of people. So where do masses of people gather? At events, sporting events, concerts, so on and so forth, festivals, right? So this is already beginning. You know, it's going to be exact on the evening of the 21st that he enters Aquarius, but we're already starting to see this is canceled, that's canceled, that's canceled, and isolating. We're all having to isolate ourselves. So Saturn can rule isolation. Saturn in itself can. And then Aquarius, you're isolating yourself, Saturn, from masses of people, Aquarius, right? So that's already started. It's already began. And once, you know, Saturn enters the sign, I don't want to say it can get worse, but it could. We can start to see even more cancellations of things. So, you know, this is like a week after I am recording this, but even just today, in one day, all the jobs that I have are working for events one way or another, right? And so I've been hearing all day, okay, now this is canceled, okay, now this is postponed, like, you know, like the news coming, okay, oh, now here's an update, all these updates of everything being canceled, all these events and concerts being canceled. So I mean, it sucks, but hey, this is what it is. So that can continue. Postponements, delays. Saturn can delay, delays, postponing, stop, no, you can't pass here, you can't go here. So all of that is already starting. Okay, Saturn is about control, and with Aquarius being about the masses, it's controlling the masses, controlling how many people are in a certain place at a certain time to try to get this virus under control. The spread of things can be ruled by Aquarius, things going viral. You know, that's what we say, going viral, like on the internet. And Aquarius rules the internet. And what does going viral mean? It spreads like real fast, you know. So that can be a literal virus, getting control over it, which is Saturn and Aquarius. And a lot of stuff is postponed until like the fall, the summer. Saturn is in Aquarius until July 1st of 2020. Because he's going to go retrograde. He's only going to get to a couple degrees within Aquarius. Then he's going to go retrograde and go back into Capricorn July 1st. And then he's not going to return again until December 16th. Okay, so for, what is it, like 3.5 months, we have Saturn in Aquarius. So that's why there is a lot of stuff that's like, oh, not till the summer, not till the fall. You know, for like 3 or 4 months while it's in Aquarius, it's nope. It's a no from him, dog. Okay, it's a no to going to concerts, festivals, and all that stuff. So, yeah, so that can explain some of the whole like coronavirus crap or whatever. But Saturn in Aquarius, what is it going to bring to us even more? I'll only talk about it a little bit here because I don't want to make this too long because, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. But Saturn in Aquarius, well, Saturn is like teaches us things, it's teachable moments, like finding those moments to where you mess up and it could be pointed out to you and you could be shown a new way to do something, or maybe even the tried and true traditional way if you're doing things a new way and it's like, no, that doesn't work, it's supposed to be this way, it's always been done this way. That's Saturn in itself. But when it's in Aquarius is about newness, it's about finding alternatives. Excuse me. So maybe as a whole, as a collective, we will be taught lessons of some sort about Aquarian themed things, like how to do things new versus old. That can come up a lot because we still are going to have Jupiter in Cap for a while. Pluto's still going to be in Cap too for like a couple more years. So yeah, Saturn in Aquarius. I'm gonna look up real quick too. When was the last time Saturn was in Aquarius? I should have prepared myself, but hey, Mercury's still in a shadow period, y'all. So whatever. She is not prepared. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so Saturn in Aquarius. When was Saturn last in Aquarius? I'm looking it up, you guys. Yeah, when was Saturn last in Aquarius? So what it's gonna... Oh, okay. It left Aquarius in 1994. So it must have been it was the early 90s. So those of you that were born in the early 90s, you're going to be going through your Saturn return. Dun, dun, dun. I think it's the early 90s, before 94. I'm trying to find the exact dates. But yeah. So that's the last time it was in Aquarius, was in the early 90s. Interesting. So I'll have to go back and look at some stuff and see what was going on during that time as a collective that maybe we may see a repeat of or a revision of some sort. Okay. And we'll just nerd out a little bit more next time. So that's it, you guys. That's the forecast for this week. Oh yeah, and then I end with the 22nd. Moon is in Pisces, conjunct Neptune in the evening on the 22nd. Very dreamy energy. If you are asleep that night, your dreams may be off the chain. You may dream some weird, crazy stuff like Alice in Wonderland type of stuff, or you may have some spiritual epiphanies, realizations. People visit you from the other side, whether you see them or you just hear them or feel their presence. It's usually every month. The Moon and Neptune in Pisces are good days. It's a good day when this exact conjunction happens for you to dive into some spiritual stuff, and also your creativity too. I mentioned all the emo stuff with Pisces, but Pisces is super highly creative. So if you're an artist of any sort, or if you just enjoy the arts, delve into that when Mercury's here, the Moon's here, and especially with Neptune. It's really dope. Okay. So that's it, you guys. I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of astrological stuff in my stories mostly, and I do have a stories highlight tab that's named horoscopes. So I try to keep up with even further insights into what's going on, what the weather is like, what's it doing to us. So don't forget to follow me there. And also, don't forget 2020 forecast. You want to know what Saturn in Aquarius is going to be doing while he's dipping in and doing it. Like Wendy Williams says, dipping in and out of Aquarius this year in 2020. What does that mean for you? So find out for your sign on my website. Okay. So peace out, everybody. I will talk to you guys later.